the megafaunal extinction of North American mammals. So this has been long debated before the impact hypothesis was proposed, and the competing hypotheses were overhunting. Humans just hunted them to the point where, not every last one, to the point where the population numbers get too low and these species can't survive. Or climate change, or both. The climate change weakened the populations, then the humans came over and overhunted them. All right, so, and then the impact hypothesis is proposed. Okay, so this was debated, and it didn't fare that well because there were a lot of mammals and other species that didn't go extinct that you would expect from a massive impact like that. It would have wiped out. Why the selected species, the kinds of species that humans would hunt, are the ones that went extinct, whereas these others didn't.
Well, why would humans be hunting the largest? There's no evidence that humans hunted the predators. There is evidence that they hunted woolly mammoths, but it's a very sparse. I mean, you have no more than a dozen sites that show association between human hunting and mammoths. And a lot of those, like the Lubbock Lake site, is now being questioned. Previously interpreted as being butchering marks on the mammoth remains there are now being reinterpreted as possibly natural marks on the mammoth bones. But it's a big stretch to go from, okay, we've got a dozen sites where we have mammoth remains, and along with those mammoth remains, we find a few Clovis spear points. In 2 or 3 cases, we actually find, or they have found, spear points embedded within the mammoth, like in the rib cage. But it's a very large stretch to go from there to say that 10 or 12 million woolly mammoths, or 4 species of mammoths on 4 continents, were wiped out by Paleo-Indian hunters, probably in bands of no more than 2 or 3 dozen.
But each site has its own particular explanation. Could be hunting, could be a massive flood, earthquake, whatever.
Could be a massive flood, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think there you and I would be in complete agreement.
What does it mean by massive? There's global versus, local. So, for example, there's 52 mammalian genera went extinct in South America. Why would they go extinct in South America? About the time that humans were moving down there hunting.
The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis includes South America. There were impacts there.
It does, and again, the dating of the migration of humans into South America is controversial at this point. There is evidence that humans were there long before. What is being demonstrated from examining the lifeways of the Paleo-Indian peoples is that they had very diversified diets, and they were hunter-gatherers. Now, why would they be choosing the largest, most dangerous animals to hunt when they had such a proliferation of other smaller animals? We know that they were foraging. We know that they were eating seafood. There was and fishing, because all of this is being found in the camps. And then it certainly doesn't explain the extermination of the cave bears, the short-faced bears, the camelops, the giant beavers, the giant armadillos, the American Pleistocene lion, the ground sloths that were the size of giraffes. 4 species of proboscideans, meaning mammoths, extinct on 4 continents. And to me, wait a second.
But here's another answer to one of your questions. You were saying, why would some of the animals be alive? Well, we know that the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs 65 million years ago didn't kill everything.
Right.
And that is a massive impact, far bigger than anything we're talking about, and many, many animals survived that. So we don't know why things survive and why they don't. It could be proximity to the impact.
Right.
It could be that their food source wasn't removed. It could be that their predators were wiped out and they managed to survive. I mean, there's a lot of animals that are alive today in this continent.
Another point, Michael, if it's overkill, it's intriguing that the overkill occurs, precisely in the Younger Dryas window, because I think you'd agree that now the whole story of the peopling of the Americas is pretty much up for grabs. I mean, Clovis first was the dominant model for a very long time, and under that model we're to envisage these Clovis hunters coming in across the Bering Land Bridge, going down the ice-free corridor, and then in 800 years, with their sophisticated fluted points, they wipe out all the mammoths in North America. But now we know that humans have been coexisting and butchering mammoths, coexisting with mammoths for thousands of years before that, possibly tens of thousands of years before that.
You mean from evidence in Siberia?
I don't only mean from evidence in Siberia. I mean, I can cite you from Nature magazine just recently. Huge number. I don't think the Yukon is in Siberia, is it?
No.
Okay,
I think the Yukon's in North America. Jacques Cinq-Mars, the excavator of the Bluefish Caves in the Yukon, back in the 1970s was proposing that human beings had been in the Americas at least 24,000 years ago. His reputation was utterly destroyed. His research funding was withdrawn. He was given no access to grants. He wasn't able to do his work. He was heavily penalized and punished by the community. And now, just a few weeks ago, we have the Smithsonian coming out and saying, sorry, we got it wrong. Jacques Saint-Mars was right all along. And Tom Dillahay, you know, with his work in Monteverde, the shit that he had to take. I think we're in a very interesting time. The peopling of the Americas is really a paradigm that has absolutely been overthrown. The notion of Clovis first. Well, you disagree with Smithsonian then, which is fine. I do too.
No, the Mesa Verde, you know, it's an it's an anomaly. It's an isolated site. Where are all the sites between Clovis and Monteverde?
Do you honestly think Clovis was still first?
For thousands and thousands of years.
Come on, Michael. Do you think Clovis was still first?
Where are all the people between Clovis and Monteverde?
Not my problem.
It is your problem.
No, it's not my problem. They're there in Monteverde and they're there in North America.
Okay,
Go
so
figure.
What's more likely?
Go figure why there's a Denisovan trace in South American Indians and not in North American Indians.
It's like the Nature paper I brought
Maybe
up
people
earlier,
crossed the ocean.
that there were Neanderthals or humans in San Diego 130,000 years ago. Okay, but when you look at that, okay, so they have mammoth bones. It looks like they might have been broken in the length, you know, okay, and the tools, but they're not. Okay, the tools.
We're kind of changing subjects here, though.
Well, no.
You're trying to quibble the evidence of earlier human presence.
That's right.
You're trying to quibble it.
Well, not quibble. Just,
well, you're quibbling it. You're quibbling it, and you've got every right to challenge it.
What are you saying very specifically that's opposing what he just said?
The reason archaeologists don't accept earlier than Clovis, say earlier than about 13,000, 14,000 years.
It's massively acceptable.
Like say Mesa Verde, for example.
Okay, I have to bring up an image.
Why don't they accept Mesa Verde?
They do accept Mesa Verde.
It
is accepted
Michael,
now.
are you sure about this?
As what, 24,000 years?
15 plus, possibly significantly.
Yeah. Okay. So
significantly
15,
older.
So 15 is kind of the outside of the window that humans came across the Bering Strait. That's possible. Not 24,000.
Did you open
years.
Clovis first?
Not 130,000 years ago. Now, if it turns out that Nature paper is right and that's confirmed, then that does overturn the mainstream theory for sure.
But why would you? This is not like your field of study. Why would you argue against the Nature paper?
Let's
okay, I'll just give you.
Let's quote the Smithsonian.
I ask professionals.
Smithsonian, slide number 5. Today, decades later, the Clovis first model has collapsed. Okay, based on dozens of new studies, we now know that pre-Clovis peoples slaughtered mastodons in Washington state, dined on desert parsley in Oregon, made all-purpose stone tools that were Ice Age version of the X-Acto
between
blades.
13,000 that's not.
No, look at this.
All between that and then 24,000 years down at the bottom, Michael. You know, are you saying the Smithsonian are wrong on this?
Michael, you're jumping to conclusions before you even read that. You want to be right so badly. You didn't read the part and other animals there.
Look,
hold on a second. Confirming that humans had butchered horses and other animals there 24,000 years ago. It says it right there, and you are arguing against it without even reading it, which means you want to be right. No, that's absolutely what's going on.
Because I have no dog. Okay, call it whatever you want. It goes back 11, 13,
But what do you think
15.
about what that says? That there's evidence they butchered horses 24,000 years ago.
Okay, I would have to check the site on that. I haven't seen this article.
Well, now that you have seen it.
Not my problem.
Okay,
now that you have seen
either.
it,
Well, it is your problem because you're the
there's
skeptic
no evidence.
and you're here opposing this and you're saying there's no evidence. You haven't even read the fucking article.
Okay, I'm not opposing anything. I'm saying
you certainly are.
This is the reason why scientists accept these dates here, because there's lots and lots of evidence for
that is scientists.
10,000, 11,000, 12,000.
That is
scientists.
Then you find one person that says 24,000. Another one, like 2 weeks ago,
this is
that
not
says,
one person. This is very
and then
disappointing
another
that you're
paper,
arguing this without really doing any research about it.
And then
what the Smithsonian are saying is now this is accepted. You need to get up to speed with the data, Michael.